How are you?
All right, and yourself?
I'm good. Look, you about bad as my family. They was like, "Why you here?" People, this is not the week. They thought the same thing. Like, you're not supposed to be here. I said, check your calendars. Oh, how was your week?
It was good.
Good, good. It was a
How
week.
about yours? Yeah,
It was a week. It was a week. It was actually good. I can't
good.
complain. And what's the use of complaining anyway? So
Right.
it was all good. Um, learned some things. You know, I'm always the lifelong student, so learned some things. Um, just it was good. Busy. Everything is busy because everything seems to come at a certain point, and it's like it feels like being reactive versus proactive, which I don't like at all. So that's probably why it feels the way it feels to me. Like, oh, I got to do this. 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 Um, but yeah, but it gets done. Let me just say that it gets done, and usually at the 11th hour, but it gets done. Just like last night, I'm like, I who have nothing. I felt like that song. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Is that a Luther Vandross song?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, I who have nothing. I was sitting there like, maybe we'll just do a touch base or a check in or something. I don't know. I who have nothing. So thank you. I appreciate it. Look, I knew you would be up if nobody else in the world. So I appreciate you sending me some tidbits that I could kind of then move through. But yeah, I was sitting there like, okay, I don't have a show in the morning. It's okay. All right, all right. Well, let's get this party started. Hopefully, I won't mess up anything because, yeah, you know me. All right, welcome to the Saturday morning tea. Here we brew up the hottest topics in healthcare. We discuss health information, news, education, Luther Vandross songs, deadlines, timelines, and skating in on the 11th hour. How about that? We also talk certification tips, entrepreneurship, and really the revenue cycle at large. So as you come in, don't forget to hit the thumbs up or like button. I'm Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, the founder and senior education director of the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, where coding education is key. And PRN is a healthcare compliance consultancy located in Cincinnati, Ohio, that specializes in revenue cycle and regulatory compliance and education. And let me ask, do you know what it takes to be a certified marketable medical coder? Hmm? Let me put the emphasis on marketable. Marketable. Well, before I introduce my co host, let me share with you information on a free email course on the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder. Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start and scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder. Hey, we got the memo today. I just noticed that. Hey,
Yeah.
look at it. Oh, look at the aesthetic. If you are interested in getting more information about the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder, check the video description for the link. Joining me today is my partner in success, my co host, Mr. Jesse, the registered trademark. Put some respect on his name, the coding nurse. Sir, introduce yourself and tell the folks all about you.
Good morning. My name is Jesse. I live in Philadelphia. I've been in healthcare for a long time. I left the bedside in 2014. And during the pandemic in 2020, I created a company, the Coding Nurse LLC, where I help nurses and other people in healthcare with a clinical background transition into the wonderful world of HIM.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I got a message that my mic was unplugged. I touched one thing. See,
Uh,
leave stuff alone. You set this stuff up so you can just sit and do. Leave it alone. All right. Well, how's that working out for you?
it's coming along.
Yes. Yes. I'm so excited. All right. So before we jump in, let me remind you that you can join in and add to the conversation. Actually, we want you to come on in, say something. Don't be shy. At least
Now,
say hi.
you're not on screen.
Oh, my bad. Nobody wants to see me. They want to see you. How about that? No, okay. All right, there we go. So I told you it's been a morning. I've been up ever since 5 o'clock because, of course, 11th hour had to put stuff together, and here we are. I think I'm on my second cup of tea here, so yeah, the caffeine is kicking in. All right, we do want to hear from you, so say hi, say what's up, what it is, yo, what's up. All right, don't be shy. Your opinion matters and is welcomed here. So use the chat it up. Let's talk. Especially if you have comments about today's topic, because I feel like it's going to be a doozy. But if you have a question, please type Q first so we know it is a question for us and we don't miss it. So for those who are just joining us or watching the replay, today we're talking government shutdown, survival guide for medical coders. I needed some music like dun 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 dun. I felt that in my spirit. But first, let's get into our church announcement, shall we? Hey, hey, hey. Mm-hmm. Hey. Mm-hmm.
And tomorrow's first Sunday.
Sir, everybody in your white, get ready. The first Sunday, yes. The first Sunday of the fourth quarter. Come on, y'all. That's a word right there. That's a word. Fourth quarter, and all that entails. Ooh, that's a word. All right. Yes. Get it. They'd be like, ma'am, please have a seat. Actually, I went last Sunday. I visited I'm about the Bates Memorial in Louisville, Kentucky. I had a fabulous time.
Okay.
Yes, I know. I don't even know her official title, and I'm probably gonna butcher it, but I think she's like an assistant pastor of the church. And so she gave me a tour, and they took me to the media room. I was like, y'all kidding me, for real? Can I just sit down right here? Can we? It was beautiful, like all the stuff. And I was like, yes, I love this. But it was it was HBCU day. So of course, I didn't attend an HBCU, but my money did. So I was repping Alabama State hard and heavy. So it was all good. But yeah, that was good. All right. Let's see. Church announcements. I thought I would have more information, but I don't. But on October the 16th, I will be joining the Qualified on their Brunch and Learn session at, I believe, 11 a.m. talking all the talk.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. Once I get I'm waiting for the promo information, but once I get it, I'll pass it on to everybody. So I'm looking forward to the partnership. We've been talking about this for a minute, and it's finally come to pass. So I'm looking for it. I'll be flying in and sitting down, coming from AHIMA. I think I mentioned this last week about the House of Delegates. We finally got all of, well, I'm going to say all because it never fails that people will still bring motions and amendments and the like at the actual meeting. We are planning for an all day. I'm like, let me make sure I got chargers and snacks and all of the things because it's going to be a whirlwind. Um, but if you have any questions, I know Ohio sent out a blast. Please check your emails, check the blast. If you have questions or concerns or want to provide your opinion, which again, your delegates need to hear from you. Again, they know how they may want to move, but it's really, we represent the members of our component association. So tell them how you feel about some of these changes, potential changes, possible changes, and how you would want them to vote on your behalf. So let the folks know. Hopefully they'll send some information out. But if they're not, reach out to them and tell them, hey, I heard that y'all going to the House of Delegates meeting and these are the topics and I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. I love this. Y'all better vote yes. So just let the folks know how you feel. You are a member. You are a paid member. Membership has its privileges and benefits. And one of them is your voice. So use your voice and let the folks know how you want them to move. I think that's it for me, Mr. Jesse.
I think my announcement is really more like a statement. And as we were talking about memberships and being, the whole, our theme is being certified and marketable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that AHIMA is in trouble. Like, Molly, you in danger, girl. Because like they have hung their hat on the CCS credential for decades. It was like the king of the hill. And what I have noticed, because I'm back in inpatient but on a different side, is I see far more CIC credentials than I do CCS. And I have since when it came out, I knew that the CIC would take a minute to catch on because it was new. But I don't know what AHIMA is going to do, because it makes no sense for somebody, if they want to go directly into inpatient, to get a CCS. Like, you don't have why learn a course that you don't have to. Now, if you already have an outpatient credential and you want to go inpatient, then of course you could do either or. But I'm seeing the CIC more than I'm seeing the CCS lately.
So it's been my experience that our coding associations, and we have the two kind of standard, the ones who've been in business for decades. I think AHIMA is over 100 years old, and AAPC is the baby with maybe 40, 30 years in. And it's been my experience that they often do a dance. Things ebb and flow with new players coming in, because you have other organizations that provide and offer coding credentials as well. So it's, I just think it's another one of those dances where you see some, in my opinion, some ebb and flows as it relates to what folks are looking for, what types of certification they want to have. One, I do appreciate that there are choices. Folks always have a choice to move and see and do. I think that's what the whole world is about, choices. My only caution would be to make sure that you investigate, research your choice, understand what it means, what it provides, what it offers, all of the things. Again, I think both AHIMA and AAPC, because I share both of those credentials proudly, I believe that, they are at the top of their game. I still believe that one is geared primarily towards inpatient, because that's where they have hung their hat. I believe the other one is the king of the crop as it relates to professional coding, because that's where their roots are, and those roots run deep. Um, I I know that innovation happens. I know that people pivot. We talk about pivoting all the time. We'll be talking about pivoting again today, and that's wonderful, great, and all of the things. Um, and all of the things. So I do appreciate the choices. Again, I think it's more of a ebb and flow kind of situation with both of them. And good luck to everybody who is sitting for whatever certification exam that you're sitting for, or have achieved within the last year or so. Congratulations. All right. Did you start your class, or is it coming up?
I started
Okay.
Thursday.
Oh, sorry. No late admittance. So
Mhm.
we don't get down like that. Are you? I have my these students coming to me all the time. Can we get in? No, you cannot. We're done. We're closed. We're closed. Thank you. You get in on the next round. All right.
There you go.
Well, let the tea spilling begin. Well, welcome back to our Saturday morning tea, where we serve up the real talk our profession needs. I'm Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, with my partner in success, the coding nurse. So pour yourself a warm cup of, dare I say it, coffee, tea, or whatever brings you comfort this morning. That could be cold or hot, because today we're having one of those real conversations. Seriously. Okay. The kind where we don't sugarcoat, but we also don't panic. The kind where we face what's happening head on and figure out how to move forward together. Now, I want you to take a sip of that beverage. I'll join you real quick. Look at you. All right, take a sip of your beverage. Take a breath and know that no matter what we're going to talk about and share with you today, we're all going to be okay, right? Why? Because we're professionals, we're adaptable, and because we're in this together. So here's what's happening. Technically, we're on day 4, I guess, because it is the 4th day. So, of a federal government shutdown. And before you think, well, Clarice, I work at a private hospital, this doesn't affect me. Oh, yes, sweetie, it does. Let me tell you, we are all connected in this healthcare ecosystem. So when CMS catches a cold, the entire revenue cycle gets the flu. Today, we're breaking down exactly what this shutdown means for medical coders, what's changing right now under our feet, and most importantly, the 3 pivots you need to make to not just survive this, but to come out stronger on the other side. Prayerfully, it's going to be a short blip, but crazier things have happened of late. And who knows where we are. Okay. So again, this could all be so simple if our government could just agree on a budget, right? Right. But since that's not our reality today, we're going to do what we do best. We're going to code our way through this crisis with accuracy, integrity, and a whole lot of pearls of wisdom. So are you ready? All right, let's get into it. So today's topic, again, is government shutdown, what medical coders must know now. All right, let's talk about what's actually happening. So Rose T. Dunn, and if you don't know who she is a past president of AHIMA. She's a current delegate. I don't think she has a podcast, but I know she writes a lot of articles. Just a distinguished member, and someone whose voice we kind of hear a lot. Sometimes we agree with Rose. Sometimes we don't agree with Rose. Sometimes it's not necessarily about her message. It's more about the mode and method. But one thing you can say about Miss Rose Dunn, she is passionate about her association. She is passionate about health information professionals, passionate. And that passion comes through all the time. So Rose has given us a clear picture in a special bulletin from the RAC Monitor. Yeah, she writes several articles for the RAC Monitor, but I think she writes for somebody else too. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but this one came from the RAC Monitor. So the federal government couldn't agree on a fiscal year 2026 budget. Instead of the stability that we need to do our jobs well, we're dealing with temporary stopgaps. Sometimes they last for months, sometimes for a single day. It's like trying to code on a boat in a storm. The ground keeps shifting beneath us. And here's what that means in practical terms. The first impact is that the temporary programs are gone. Poof, disappeared, out of here. No more. The acute hospital care at home initiative expired. Those Medicare telehealth flexibilities we've all gotten used to, many of them expired. Now, I need you to understand what this means in your world. And Mr. Jesse, you know to jump in whenever, however. Hospitals right now are having to discharge or transfer patients who were receiving care at home. What that means for you is, as a medical coder, more discharge records to process, more transfer documentation to prepare. And here's the kicker. You might have less support to do it because federal resources are limited. The second impact, the NIH operations are paused and that's the National Institutes of Health. The new clinical trials cannot begin. New patients cannot be admitted to the clinical centers. If you're coding for government facilities, you might be experiencing a reduction in admissions to code and process. The work is slowing down, but the uncertainty is ramping up. The third impact, and this is a big one, CMS is operating on a skeleton crew. Updates from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services are on hold. Billing inquiries delayed. Appeals delayed. That question you have about a complex coding scenario, the usual channels are compromised. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, well, at least the auditors will leave us alone for a while. And yes, CMS may pause or scale back oversight activities like healthcare facility surveys and certifications. But here's what I need you to understand. This isn't relief. This is a storm surge building offshore. You know how they talk about those hurricanes when they out in the water and how they may shift here, shift there, and come on land. This is the hurricane out there in the water. All of that oversight, all of those responsibilities, they don't disappear, they accumulate. And when the shutdown ends, it's all going to come back at once like a tsunami hitting the beach. Fourth impact, court cases are delayed. Litigation requiring testimony from federal regulatory agencies on pause. More uncertainty for everyone waiting on outcomes. And the fifth impact, the one that breaks my heart, is the human cost. Essential employees are working without paychecks right now. Let that sink in. How would you, ma'am and sir? Your colleagues in government health information departments are showing up every day, coding records, releasing information, ensuring continuity of care, all while wondering how they're going to pay their rent, their mortgage, their bills. Non-essential staff have been sent home, scrambling for temporary work to bridge the income gap. Contractors are facing disruptions in work and pay. This could all be so simple. Just pass a budget and pay people for their work. Let healthcare operate with stability. But that's not where we are. So what do? We adapt, we prepare, we support each other, and we make sure that when this government or when this shutdown ends, because it will end at some point, prayerfully sooner rather than later, we haven't lost ground. We've actually gained resilience. So let's get specific about what's landing on your desk right now. I've got 7 critical talking points every medical coder needs to understand, and I'm going to walk through them with you like we're sitting across from each other at the kitchen table enjoying some tea. So take another sip of your tea, get comfortable, because this is where it gets really real. Again, Mr. Jesse.
And well, before you start the list, like, I don't think this could have happened at a worse time because the new code set just went into effect, and it's always 1,001 questions about what to do and how. And those code sets are effective now, and
Mm,
the ICD-10-CM and PCS code sets are handled by the National Center for Healthcare Statistics.
mhm.
So it's this can really become a thing.
And even after the shutdown, things can get lost in translation. So maybe somebody, asked a question or got in before the deadline of the shutdown. Well, who knows where that question may ever whether it will ever get to anybody's desk, whether anybody will ever see it, and then how long it's going to take. We know sometimes things, once the information comes, it travels like wildfire. Other times stuff is slow as hell. Like it's just easing its way through. And folks are like, oh, I didn't know that. 6 months later, oh, I didn't know that. A year later, oh my God, I didn't know that. And all along, especially if it's something that impacts reimbursement, folks' money, somebody is playing with the church's money because they don't know. And the information didn't come to them. They didn't find it. They didn't know where to look. They didn't know where to get it. They didn't, just a mess. So yeah, even when we come out of it, it's still gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a lot of scramble. So talking point number 1, documentation surge alert. So when temporary programs expire suddenly, you're going to see a spike in discharge summary and transfer documentation. Those at-home care patients being moved back to facilities, that means more complex coding scenarios because you're capturing both the home care episode and the new admission or transfer. Here's what you need to do today. Talk to your HI director about capacity planning. Are you staffed appropriately for this surge? Do you have a plan for prioritizing high dollar, high impact claims versus lower priority work? This is not the time to be a hero and take on everything yourself. This is the time to be strategic. Talking point number 2, the CMS communication blackout. And this is along the lines of what we were just talking about. When CMS operates on skeleton staff, your usual channels for coding clarification are compromised. That LCD question you have, that appeal on a denied claim, it's going to take longer. Now, this could all be so simple if we could just pick up the phone and get the answers. But here's what I want you to do instead. Document all your questions now. Keep asking the questions, even if you have to ask them to yourself, until you can get the right people or the appropriate people, or until we come out of this. But keep a running list and use this time to build your internal knowledge base. Consult with your coding colleagues, reputable ones. Tap into AHIMA communities of practice. Tap into the AAPC. Join coding forums, reputable ones. When you can't get answers from the source, you build a network of expertise. And honestly, that's a skill we should have been developing all along. Talking point number 3, telehealth coding complications. Now, let me pour you some truth along with this tea, because this one right here is urgent. The expiration of Medicare telehealth flexibilities means that you need to immediately review what telehealth codes are still billable and which have reverted to pre-pandemic restrictions. I cannot stress this enough. Do not code telehealth from memory right now. Do not assume that what was billable last week is still billable today. You need to verify every single telehealth encounter against current guidelines. Everyone. Now, you have a little saving grace if you are in behavioral health. Those things kind of still stand, but it's still kind of murky in a government shutdown. So still verify. Go to cms.gov. The website is still up even if staff is limited. Download the current telehealth coverage policies, print them out, put them in a binder, make them accessible to every coder on your team. This is not the time to wing it. Know it. Have it in front of you, because when push come to shove and shove come to push, as we all know it will, make sure you have the documentation to support why you did what you did, right? Right. And why the documentation states, based on the guidance you had at the time when you did it, why you did what you did. Sit with that for a minute. It'll come to you. All right. Talking point number 4, the backlog is coming. I mentioned this earlier, but I want to make sure you really hear it. When government oversight pauses, it doesn't disappear, it accumulates. So while you won't see them sending you requests, or while you won't see them knocking at your doors, you should be feeling them, because right now, while surveys and audits are scaled back, you might feel like you have some breathing room. But do you? Because when the floodgates open, the flood is coming. Use that breathing room wisely. Get your documentation house in order. Review your coding accuracy. Run your internal audits. Clean up those edge cases you've been meaning to revisit. Because when the shutdown ends, there's going to be a flood of surveys, audits, and certifications that hit all at once. The facilities that prepared during the pause are going to sail through. The ones that got complacent, they're going to struggle. Which facility do you want to be? Think about that. Now, let me take a breath here, and you do the same. I know that all of this is a lot. And again, we're just on day 4. I heard this may go into next week, all of next week. Who knows? Do you know what the longest government shutdown has been?
I want to say, I really think it was during the Clinton administration. I think it was over a month, like 31 days.
That's a long time. That's a long time for all of this. That's a long time.
It is.
That's a long time. But like I said, I know this is a lot, but we're in this together, and we're going to get through this together. Talking point number 5, revenue cycle ripple effects. Delays in CMS responses mean delays in claim resolution, which means cash flow issues for your facility. If your facility is already cash strapped, this is not going to feel good for you all during this shutdown. I'll say that. Your accuracy and efficiency matter even more right now. Clean claims on first submission aren't just good practice anymore. They're financial survival. Every claim that gets kicked back, every denial that has to be appealed, every resubmission, that's money your facility doesn't have access to while they wait for federal systems to get back online. So here's your focus. First pass accuracy, clean claims, thorough documentation, triple check before you submit, because right now there's no quick fix if something goes wrong. And I don't know if these facilities are allowing this, because we've talked about how most facilities are on a 2-3 day claim drop. Some of them probably more sooner than that. Maybe they will relax that a little bit during this time, so folks can actually take a look and verify and validate all the information that they're sending over. I know it's wishful thinking, but maybe somebody will hear this and consider, okay, we ain't got to force them to do push. Let's get our accuracy right. Let's get our quality back on point and on par. Just a thought. I don't know.
I just Googled the longest shutdown. It was before the pandemic, actually. In 2018, it was 35 days.
35 days. All right.
And I think this one is going to be, I think the effects of this one is going to be a little longer lasting, because this is also happening after darn near what, a quarter of the government was laid off and let go, so they were already short-staffed. On top of now, even being even more short-staffed. So the
Mhm.
recovery phase is going to be, I think, is going to be a lot for them.
It's going to be a lot. And the looming threat of, now we're going to go in and really clean and clear slates. Just the craziness.
It could all be so simple.
Couldn't it? Talking point number 6, cross-train and document now. Uncertainty is our new normal. We have to accept that. But here's what we can control: our preparation. Ooh, that's a word. Make sure your coding processes are documented so thoroughly that anyone could step in and do your job. I know, job security, right? But think about it differently. The coder who has documented their processes is invaluable. You're not making yourself replaceable, you're making yourself promotable. You see, you're making yourself the person who can train others, who can oversee quality, and who can step into leadership. Cross-train with colleagues. The coder who knows both inpatient and outpatient, who understands both Medicare and commercial payers, who can flex between specialties. That's the coder who has job security no matter what happens. And my friends, that's about being marketable.
But I just
Yeah.
wanted to jump in when you were talking about a coder being more marketable when if they can document their processes. I remember watching, actually I've seen it a couple times in business, like when founders create companies and they're doing well and other people are starting to maybe look at potentially buying a company. I remember I was watching this video and this guy was like, he was trying to sell his business, and somebody involved in the process told him that his business wasn't really, it really wasn't sellable because he didn't have any processes. They were like, when somebody buys a business, they want to be able to come in and do exactly what you're doing and pick up where you left off. They don't
Recreate
want to,
it.
right? They don't want
Absolutely.
to have to rebuild it. So
Correct.
he was like, you have to standardize some things and put some things in writing so it's more appealing
Hmm.
to a potential buyer.
Yeah. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Not recreate.
Hmm.
Wash, rinse, and repeat. Where anybody could jump in, sit down. They have the manual. Oh, da 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 da. And it sounds like he's that person probably was doing things on the fly. Like, let's test this. Oh, it works. Whatever. But at some point, you need to put down on paper. This is how you do da 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 da. This is what you do. So it helps you. You may retire again. You may want to sell it, you may want to leave it to family, people, somebody. They need to know. Of course they're going to put their own little special sauce on it, but they need to know at least the foundation, at least the bones of what it was that made this business successful in the first place. Yeah. Yeah. That's good talk.
Hmm.
That's an extra special gem. I hope y'all caught that. Especially those in entrepreneurial spaces. All right. So this could all be so simple if we just specialized in one thing and did it forever. But that's not the healthcare landscape we're in. Versatility is your insurance policy. Talking point number 7, government facility coders. You're the heroes. Now, before we move forward, I need to say something to those of you working in government facilities right now. If you work for the VA, military hospitals, Indian Health Services, or other government facilities, I see you. Whether you're coding as essential personnel without pay, or you've been furloughed and you're listening to this feeling helpless, we see you and your profession sees you. Your work is critical. The veterans, the service members, the patients who depend on government health care, they still need you. And I know it's hard to feel motivated when your money, when the coins are not coining, when the dollars are not dollaring, and the bag is light. I know. But I need you to know that what you're doing matters. You are showing up with professionalism and integrity in impossible circumstances. And that takes a lot of courage. And to those of you in private facilities, reach out to your government facility colleagues, offer support, share resources. If you have extra capacity, see if there's a way to provide some temporary assistance. Check in on them. A text message, a phone call, an offer to grab some coffee or tea. These things matter. This is our professional family, and we take care of each other. That's not optional. That's who we are. So think about that. All right. Before we jump into solutions, I want you to take a moment here. Again, it's still heavy, especially those who are in it, knee deep in it. I know it's heavy. I've heard of several folks who were already impacted um, by the, like you mentioned, the cuts that happened before, and then folks were in a kind of gray area. Well, that gray area is getting crazier gray because of the looming. Well, we're going to use this time to even cut deeper. And you have the people who are considered essential and have to go to work and not getting paid. You know how we feel about our coins and our money. But even less than that, we got people who are looking up to us like, but we want to continue to live the lifestyle that we've built here. Folks have children. Folks may be caregivers to others. I mean, all kinds of situations and scenarios are happening. And so just, take a moment and think about those people, wish them well, send up a prayer for them. Because right now it's probably a struggle to get out of bed knowing really, but like I said before, we do it with professionalism. We do it with grace. We do it knowing that really it's the right thing to do. And we will be rewarded for it. Trust and believe you will be rewarded for it. Ms. Jessie, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So I want to ask you some questions that might make you uncomfortable, but but that discomfort, that's where growth happens. I know when I hear stuff, I'd be like, they talking to me. Are you tapping me on my shoulder? These are questions we need to sit with, not rush past. You don't have to answer out loud. Really, we can't hear you anyway. Though, if you're listening with your coding team, or if you're, using this as a training, this would be a great discussion to have. But I want you to really think about these. Question number 1, how would your coding department function if CMS guidance was unavailable for 30 days? Seriously, think about that. What backup resources do you have? Do you know how to access previous guidance, archived LCDs, alternative authoritative sources? Or would your department grind to a halt? If the answer makes you uncomfortable, that's okay. Remember, discomfort is the beginning of change. What can you do this week to build those backup systems? Question number 2, if you are an essential employee, what's your breaking point? We don't talk enough about the mental health impact of working without pay.
No.
And I'm not asking this to be dark. I'm asking because you need to know your own boundaries. What support systems should your healthcare organization have in place? What advocacy needs to happen to ensure essential workers aren't sacrificed? Question number 3, are we too dependent on real-time federal guidance? Should health information professionals be building more comprehensive internal coding reference libraries that don't require constant federal access? What would that look like in your facility? I think the answer is yes. I think we've become dependent on instant access. Well, instant everything, but instant access. And that dependency has made us vulnerable. What if we build coding libraries that could sustain us through any communication blackout? That's probably more or less to some of our associations as well. Question number 4, how do we support our government facility colleagues? When federal HIM professionals are furloughed or working without pay, what's our professional obligation? Should AHIMA be creating emergency funds? Should there be a job sharing program? Should AAPC be using their emergency fund? I do think AAPC does have an emergency fund. I'm not sure what it's actually used for, if it's used for disaster relief or not, but I know they have an emergency fund. What can you do personally to support a colleague in need? Again, that goes to having those conversations, reaching out and finding out what the needs may be. Question number 5, what happens to quality metrics during a shutdown? If oversight is paused and essential staff are stretched thin, are we sacrificing quality for quantity? How do we maintain coding accuracy standards when systems are strained? Now, that's a hard question.
Yep.
But they're necessary questions. And the answers are going to shape how we build a more resilient health information profession going forward. All right, so we've talked about the problems. We've sat with the discomfort. Now let's talk about some solutions, because here's what I know about medical coders. We are problem solvers. We take complex, messy healthcare encounters and translate them into precise, accurate codes. If we can do that, we can absolutely navigate this shutdown and come out stronger. I'm going to give you 3 pivots, 3 fundamental shifts in how you approach your work. And for each pivot, I'm giving you 3 concrete steps you can take. That's 9 total actions. But don't worry, you only need to pick one to start with. Just one. These pivots will prepare you not just for this shutdown, but for every future disruption, because there will be future disruptions. Remember the hack? Okay. That's our reality right now. But it doesn't have to be chaotic. It can all be so simple if we just prepare, adapt, and build resilience into our daily practice. So pivot 1, from real-time dependency to self-sufficient reference building. The first pivot is this: stop relying on immediate CMS access and build robust offline reference systems that can sustain you through communication blackouts. Now, I know you're thinking, Clarice, I've got cms.gov bookmark. I've got encoders. I've got my coding books. I'm good. But are you though? What happens when cms.gov is operating with limited updates? What happens when the transmittals stop being published on schedule? What happens when your questions doesn't have an easy answer and the people who would normally clarify are unavailable? Here are 3 actionable steps to begin this pivot today. Create a comprehensive coding library. Yes, this weekend. I want you to download and organize all your relevant CMS transmittals, LCDs, NCDs, and NCCI edits into a searchable local database. There are several tools that you can do it. You can use a Dropbox. You can use tools like Zotero. None of these folks are supporting or funding this podcast today. Let me just say that. But just a well-organized file folders on your computer, that works too. The key is that it's local, it's searchable, and it's comprehensive. So update this quarterly when systems are running normally. Make it a standing appointment. First Monday of every quarter, we just had. Update the library. Update the references. Because when the next shutdown or system outage happens, you'll have everything you need right there on your hard drive. Step 2, develop decision trees for common scenarios. Think about your most frequent coding questions. For me, it's things like, when can I code telehealth? What's the decision tree for hospital versus observation status? How do I handle split shared visits? Document these scenarios with flowcharts. Include authoritative source citations. Make them visual, clear, and accessible to your entire team. This is work that benefits everyone. When you create these decision trees, you're not just helping yourself, you're building institutional knowledge that protects your facility when staff turns over, when emergencies happen, and when normal resources are unavailable. Step 3, establish alternative expert networks. Join coding forums now, reputable ones, before you need them. Get active in AHIMA and AAPC communities of practice. Connect with your state health information association Build relationships with coding colleagues at other facilities. Here's the thing about professional communities, they thrive on reciprocity and genuine connection. That's what we have here at the Saturday morning tea, our PRN tea sippers. It's all about the community connection and it's genuine. We share. Lord, we share. The relationships you build now when you're showing up to help others, sharing what you know freely and contributing to the conversation, those are the relationships that show up when you need support. It's not transactional, it's relational. Keep that in mind. Schedule regular knowledge sharing sessions with coding colleagues every Saturday morning at 10 a.m., 10:15 a.m. Maybe it's a monthly lunch and learn. Maybe it's a quarterly case review. Whatever it is, make it consistent, make it real, make it about genuine learning and connection, not just networking. This could all be so simple if we just had all the answers ourselves, right? But we don't. So we build community, we build networks, we build systems of mutual support, and that community becomes your safety net. So pivot 2, from specialized silos to cross-functional versatility. The second pivot, the days of I only code outpatient or I only do E&M are over. Furloughs and uncertainty require coders who can flex across settings and specialties. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, Clarice, I've worked so hard to become a deep expert in my specialty. Won't cross-training spread me too thin? Won't it dilute everything I've built? And I hear you. That's a legitimate concern. But here's what I've learned and what I've seen in coders who've made this shift. You're not diluting anything. You're expanding. You're building resilience. And here's the beautiful part. Learning a second specialty actually makes you better at the first one. You see connections you didn't see before, and you understand the bigger picture. So let me give you 3 ways to do this without burning out. Step 1, commit to learning 1 new coding area per quarter. That's it, just 1. If you're an inpatient coder, spend time with outpatient. If you're facility-based, learn professional fee coding. If you're surgical, explore E&M. Use your facility's cases as teaching tools. Shadow other coders during lunch. Arrange code sharing sessions where you present each other's cases. This doesn't have to be formal or expensive. It just has to be consistent. Step 2, document everything you know. I want you to create those procedural manuals for your job, for your business, as if you're training your replacement tomorrow. Include not just coding guidelines, but system access, pair quirks, common facility-specific scenarios. How do you handle that one physician who's always under documents? We're the one that over documents. What's the process when the cath lab coding gets complicated? Where are the resources for rare procedures? This documentation becomes invaluable when staff shuffles occur, and we know that they do. And here's the beautiful thing. When you document what you know, you realize how much expertise you actually have. It's empowering. Step 3, attain multi-specialty certifications. Work towards that CCS, that CPC, or specialty certifications outside your comfort zone. Yes, it may cost a little money. And yes, it takes time to study. And yes, it's hard to add one more thing to your plate. But these credentials aren't just resume builders, they're insurance policies. The coder with both inpatient and outpatient certifications is the last one laid off and the first one called when coverage is needed. And here's what nobody tells you. The process of studying for these certifications make you better at your current job. You see connections you didn't see before, and it helps you understand the bigger picture. You become a more strategic coder. The last pivot, from reactive compliance to proactive resilience planning. This right here separates the good health information departments from the great ones. Stop waiting for shutdowns, audits, or crises to reveal your weaknesses. Build systems that can weather any storm, because anyone can react to a crisis. The question is, can you prepare for one before it happens? Here are the 3 actionable steps for that. Step 1, conduct a what-if audit now. Gather your coding leadership this week and run scenarios. What if CMS is unavailable for 60 days? What if half your staff is furloughed? What if telehealth flexibilities expire tomorrow? Oh, wait, they did. What if your encoder goes down for a week? What if your best inpatient coder quits without notice? For each scenario, identify your vulnerabilities and create contingency plans. Who would step in? What would you stop doing? What resources would you need? Who would you call?
Listen, if these people had to start using a book on Monday, you think healthcare is shut down now?
Where are the books? Let's start there. Do we have some current reference materials that are paper based? I know this sounds like a lot of work, but it's actually liberating because once you've planned for the worst case scenarios, the everyday problems feel manageable. Step two, build a 90-day coding continuity plan. Document which staff are essential, what minimum functions must continue, what can be paused, what backup systems exist. Include contact information for all critical stakeholders, backup vendors, and emergency resources. And here's the key: review and update this quarterly. Put it on your calendar, make it non negotiable, because a continuity plan from 2 years ago is basically useless. Technology changes, staff changes, pair requirements change. Your plan has to be a living and breathing document. And step three, establish financial resilience metrics. So work with your revenue cycle team to identify which coding functions have the most immediate financial impact. During crises, you prioritize high dollar, clean claim coding over lower priority work. You know your facility's cash flow triggers. You understand how your coding accuracy directly impacts financial survival. This isn't about being mercenary, it's about being strategic. When resources are constrained, you make sure the work that matters most gets done first. And honestly, this should be your approach always, not just during shutdowns. Understanding the business impact of your work makes you a more valuable professional. All right. I know we've covered a lot of ground today. I know we talked about a whole bunch of things. And we've talked about the reality of the shutdown, the specific impacts on medical coders, the hard questions we need to ask, and the three pivots that will build resilience. I know you can feel all of this can feel overwhelming. I know some of you are listening to this while worrying about your paycheck. I know some of you are watching your claim denial rates climb and feeling helpless. But here's what I need you to hear: you are not helpless, you are resourceful, skilled, adaptable professionals. This shutdown, however long it lasts, is temporary. The skills you build navigating it, those are permanent. Every crisis in healthcare has made our profession stronger. Y2K taught us about system redundancies. The 2008 recession taught us about efficiency. The pandemic taught us about flexibility and remote work. This shutdown is teaching us about resilience, community, and self-sufficiency. And you know what? It really could all be so simple if we just supported each other, if we just shared resources freely, if we just built the systems we wish existed instead of waiting for someone else to build them for us. So here's my challenge for you this week. Choose one action from the three pivots and do it. Just one. Maybe you download those CMS transmittals and create your local library. Maybe you reach out to a colleague and ask to shadow them for an hour. Maybe you schedule that what if meeting with your health information director. Just one, because that's how we build resilience. One small, consistent action at a time. I feel like I need to clap. I know I ain't gonna be able to find it. Oh, there it is. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for the Saturday morning tea. I know this wasn't the lightest topic, but it's a conversation we needed to have. And if this episode resonated with you, please share it with your coding team, your health information director, anyone in healthcare revenue cycle who needs to hear this message. Drop your questions and experiences in the comments. Let's keep this conversation going. Again, are you affected personally by this shutdown? How is your facility adapting? What pivots are you making? Let's support each other. And remember, you are capable, you are valuable, you are part of a profession that keeps healthcare moving, even when everything else is shut down. Keep coding with excellence. Keep supporting your colleagues and never, ever stop learning.
But you said that this might not have been the lightest topic, but it's necessary because a lot of people don't like we have to really start taking what there needs to be more of an emphasis on people developing careers
Mm, not
because
just jobs, not just jumping into these
that's
jobs.
right. Because every business has a disaster plan. Does
Mhm.
your career have a disaster plan? What's
Come
going
on
to happen?
now.
What can you
Woo.
do if something happens?
I love that. I love that. This could be the subtitle to this.
That's right.
Oh my God, that's absolutely correct. And so while we're focusing on kind of the bigger picture, really it's about you. It's about your personal move in all of this. All right. So join our community at the Professional Reimbursement Network LLC. We provide ongoing education, compliance updates, and practical strategies for navigating this complex environment of healthcare revenue cycle. And you don't have to figure this out alone. So if you're thirsty for fresh perspectives on healthcare revenue cycle, by becoming one of the PRNT sippers, you'll join a community of sharp minds who savor the complexities of the healthcare revenue cycle. Why sip alone when you can steep in knowledge together? Come, let's spill the tea on industry insights. Here's what you can expect as a valued member of the Tea Sippers: exclusive healthcare insights. Gain access to in-depth articles, webinars, and resources covering the latest healthcare trends, compliance updates, and revenue cycle best practices. Early access. Be the first to receive expert insights and guides, ensuring you stay ahead in the ever-evolving healthcare industry. Personalized support. Enjoy direct access to our team of experts for guidance on medical coding, compliance issues, and revenue cycle management. We're here to answer your questions and support your professional growth. And community connection. Join a private community of healthcare professionals where you can network, share experiences, and collaborate on finding solutions to common challenges. So by supporting us, you're not only advocating your healthcare knowledge and career, but also contributing to the success of the Professional Reimbursement Network, LLC, a resource that empowers healthcare professionals like you to thrive in their roles, goals, and dreams. So thank you for considering becoming a member of the PRNT Sippers. PRNT Sippers, where I get the "and" from. For as little as $1 a month, you can join the community. And for those of you who are impacted by job loss or this shutdown, we actually do have a free tier. So check us out. There is a free tier. You don't get as many gems and perks and offerings that others do, but there are some things that you can get as a free member. Check out the link in the description of the video, or you can also check out our link here. All right. Or you can check out the link here. Your support means the world to us, and we look forward to helping you excel in the world of health information and healthcare revenue cycle. For our Saturday morning tea family, thank you for spending your Saturday morning with us. I know your time is precious. You're probably worrying about a lot of things. You probably got a lot of stuff on your plate on a Saturday. And we don't take it lightly that you chose to spend it here with us. At the Saturday Morning Tea, we're all about building a community of savvy, informed, marketable health professionals. Mm-mm-mm. I'm still looking at that career disaster plan. Yeah. Put that in your spirit. Put that in
Feel
your
free to
spirit.
use it.
Yes, put that in your spirit. Because I wrote it down. So you know when I be writing things down.
I mean, it's true. Like people be walking around like,
Have a plan. Just have a plan. How about
yes.
start with a plan?
'Cause
All right.
I can't. I have to. I'll finish my statement in the meeting after the meeting because I can't say it here.
Okay. Uh-uh. If you needed a reason, that right there is a reason. So like, share, subscribe, and comment, and let's grow this community together. Do you have any closing thoughts on this statement today or this podcast today?
Yes. Get your house in order.
Ooh, come on now. I like that. Get your house in order. So keep in mind, we're stronger together. This shutdown is temporary, but the resilience we build today will serve us through every future challenge. Keep coding with excellence, support your colleagues, and again, never ever stop learning. That's how we weather any storm. Tune in next week. I know I'll be traveling, but we will have something for you. So there will be something for you next week on another hot healthcare informational topic that you won't want to miss. See you PRNT sippers in a few minutes at 10:15 a.m. This is Clarice Warner, the Grow with the Pearls, reminding you to keep learning, keep growing, and keep sipping that tea with intention. And that in healthcare, knowledge isn't just power, it's protection. And remember, be safe, be kind, and don't wish for it, work for it. Until next time, take care. Have a great weekend.